Dr. Tim Kimmel is one of America's top advocates for the family. I'm reading at the back of this book. I think it's the latest. Got a nod. He's the executive director, founder and executive director of Family Matters, whose goal is to build strong families by educating, equipping, and encouraging them for every age and stage of life. I want to read the dedication in Discover Your Child's Heart, the kids' flag page. To Karis, Cody, Shiloh, and Colt. They hailed from different flag countries and made life around our house richer and more meaningful than this man ever deserved. So heartwarming. Now, your children weren't born in different nations.
They were born in different personality countries. And, you know, so ever since back in Plato's time, he figured out that there was basically 4 quadrants that personalities fall into, and just about all the personality inventories that people take out there work off of these 4 quadrants. They call them different names. Sometimes they give them animal names, color names. They give them the Latin name.
Sanguine, phlegmatic.
All those things.
All of that. The temperaments.
But, yeah, the temperaments. But we have them from all 4, and then their parents come from different ones too. But the problem we had, Darcy and I were raising these 4 kids, and what parents struggle with today is that all those personality inventories, they don't really work until you're 18, 19 years old. There's never really been effective tools for little kids. So they don't work till they're 18, 19. So your kid goes off to university and they come home and say, look, I did this personality inventory. Look, Mom, this is what it says I am. And you look at it and say, wow, I didn't realize God wired you that way. All this time, I just thought you were really annoying. And so it's a chance to figure out early on what they're like. And so this friend of mine lives in Wisconsin. He's a brainiac on personalities. And he approached me and says, I would like to do something with kids, but I don't feel like I'm the one to kind of lead the way on that. Will you work with me on this? And so that's why we came up with this game, and I wrote a book to go with it that helps parents figure out. And you can do these on your kids from 5 years old on up, but you can actually do it for your kid younger than that, but this is more interactive. You want the kid to be involved.
Want you to take us through it in just a moment.
We will.
But, you know, as adults, some of us know if you've done one of these journeys in discovering your own temperament. They do them for the workplace too, and I mean it's really helpful.
Huge.
To understand that that person behaves in that way or requires that necessity because of how they are hardwired.
Right, they're hardwired that way. And think as a parent, let's say your children are going to school every day with their shoes on, but their shoes are on the wrong feet. Now their feet are protected, but they're going to be uncomfortable and distracted. Or what if everybody listening to us was having to wear their clothes, wear clothes that were like 2 sizes too small? And so, you know, once again, we're clothed, but it's uncomfortable. Well, that's what it's like for a lot of kids being brought up in homes where the parents don't figure out God's unique design for that child and then tailor their parenting to that. And that's where that verse in Proverbs, I think, really plays into this whole thing.
Well, some people are wondering why we haven't even mentioned Proverbs 22, verse 6.
Yes, it says, train up a child in the way he should go, and when he's old, he will not depart from it. Now, this verse has for centuries been misapplied. And parents assume that, oh, okay, so if I raise my kid in church and we do devotions, maybe I put them in a Christian school, then when they're old, they'll you know, and say, first of all, those are all performance-based attitudes towards parenting.
As opposed to grace-based.
So you're already on the wrong page, and you're probably not going to like it. And this verse isn't talking about that at all. If you took the Hebrew words and kind of broke them down into their literal sense, it's literally saying, train up a child according to his unique inner bent.
Wow.
And when he's old, he will not depart from it. So if I figure out how God has kind of hardwired my child, and then I parent accordingly, then when they're older, they will not depart from that because, you know, they've been raised according to their bent rather than against it. The word there is the same one used for, like, if you're making a bow, and if you're going to go out and make a bow, there's a natural bent to that thing. Well, if you don't string that thing right, if you string it against the bent, when you torque it, you're going to snap it. And see, there's a lot of parents out there don't realize that because they haven't dialed in on the heart of their kid and how God made them, they're actually working against that kid. And a lot of the things about their kid that annoys them are really just their personality strength, just pushed to an extreme.
So would you agree that we don't create the child, that it has a lot to do with the way they come?
Mm-hmm.
The way they're hardwired.
Yeah, there's no doubt about it that obviously we put a lot of ingredients into the finished product, into the recipe that they become. But God has built these, out of these 4 quadrants, he's built certain things into them, and they are there by him. And he meant for them to be there, and he wasn't making a mistake, and nor was he making a mistake when he assigned that particular type personality to you or me as parents, or to the people watching us.
Well, Tim, you and Darcy had all 4, is what you're saying. Mm-hmm. And I'm sensing that you had a lot of work.
Well, actually, we had a lot of fun. We had a lot of fun.
To sort them out.
Now, look, parenting is a lot of work. It's just, you're going to be tired for 18, 20 years. You're not going to get a lot of sleep. That's just part of the deal. But it doesn't have to be a dread. And it certainly doesn't have to be 20 years of being frightened to death and wondering what's going to happen. God didn't mean for it to be that way. And so that's why we're so glad that early on we adopted this attitude of this grace-based strategy. And if they go to familymatters.net, they can learn all they want about this thing. But it's simply, let's treat our kids the way God treats us. And God is dealing with us in his grace. And his grace is all about relationship. And I want to connect to the heart of my kids. And so finding out how they're hardwired sure helped a lot.
It's character-based, not performance-based.
Yeah, it is. Man looks on the outside, the Bible says. God looks on the heart. And yet, what do a lot of parents measure their kids by? How they dress, how they do their hair, whether that's acceptable to their Christian standards, who their friends are, how they're doing academically, whether they're on a winning team, all those things.
Image management.
It's called image management. It's image control, and it's sin management too. They do a lot of sin management. By the way, sin management, it's unbiblical. It's a bankrupt hand. You'll never win at it. And yet, that's what a lot of Christian parents do. It's an offshoot of legalism.
And hence, one of your books, I think this plays into why Christian kids rebel.
Yeah.
We need to hear this. It's hard. Some of this is hard to hear.
Well,
but
it's freeing, though. I mean, let's say somebody was not feeling well, and they go to the doctor and say, well, actually, you got some serious stuff here. We can fix it. But if you don't want to accept that you have that serious stuff, then we can't fix it. It's just going to kill you. Yeah. I would rather just tell me what it is and let's work on it.
Let's do it.
And the neat thing is that God has given us all we need to see these kids come out in ways that we'd really be glad that we had the chance to raise them.
Now, before we go to the game, one more thing. We talked yesterday about we don't want to be helicopter parents. We don't want to be hovering. We don't want to be micromanaging our children. And I could go on and on there.
Well, do you want to be micromanaged as an adult?
No.
No, of course not. We weren't made. See, God didn't wire us to be that way. And so when we do that, and by the way, does God micromanage you?
No, he gives me a tremendous amount of freedom,
exactly.
free will.
Yeah, God doesn't do that to us, so why would we do it to our children? That's going back to grace-based parenting. It's treating your kids the way God treats his kids.
He even lets me blow it.
Absolutely.
Frequently.
Well, see, in grace-based parenting, they give 4 freedoms to all kids. They give them the freedom to be different. That means like weird, bizarre, strange, goofy, quirky. They give them the freedom. They give them the freedom to be vulnerable. They give them the freedom to be candid and tell you what's on their mind, even if it's stuff you're not excited about hearing. And they give them the freedom to make mistakes. I look at that, and that's exactly what God gives me. And I want to do that with my kids. And when I do, guess what? The kids respect you more. They love being around you more. And then when you have to stand in their air hose because they've been knuckleheads, they respond well to it. I mean, one of my favorite quotes is John Wayne. He says, life is tough. It's tougher if you're stupid. And so kids will be stupid. So you make life tough for them when they do. But it's all done with a heart connection to them.
You do, however, say, Dr. Kimmel, that we need to be deliberate in the front end of our parenting. Where is that? How long is that?
Well, obviously some people are picking up the story and their kids are already teenagers. Here's the good news. It's never too late to build a heart connection to your kids. Your kids may be already have launched and out of the home. but it's never too late. But obviously, the ones that have the chance to start right at the cradle and build that heart connection, well, that's obviously the better. But it's never too late.